Hey guys, I'm Jean.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are your everyday misfits.
Each month we feature a woman from our community and invite them to our girlfriend table for a fun and relatable conversation.
But we also have a passion for supporting local small business. And we love having everyday girl adventures. So we want to feature you. So if you have a product or a service, or would like us to come and visit your venue,
please reach out to Jean at everydaygirladventures.com.
Speaking of adventures, Jamie, what is your most recent and favorite adventure?
So we recently, this weekend, checked out a brand new wine bar up in Briargate called My Cellar. And it was a really neat experience, a nice quiet atmosphere, beautiful view of the mountains. Just really enjoyed going there and checking out a new place.
Oh, we love checking out new places. And actually, it was my birthday weekend, so of course, that was my favorite adventure because we did go to a lot of different businesses this weekend, and we tried out a couple of other places as well on my birthday restaurant hop. There's a new piano bar called
Louie Louie's. It's a dueling piano bar, so that was really fun as well.
But going back to why we're here today, not just to share our adventures, but also to feature local businesses. And because we like supporting local small business, we have a special guest to introduce you to today.
Please welcome Kam Fletcher, the Haphazard Sourdough Baker.
Welcome, Kam.
Welcome.
Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
Good to see you guys.
You too.
So Kam, before we get started, this all looks really delicious. We have a special gift for you today.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. That is awesome.
But you gotta look out both sides.
Oh, that is so cool with my logo on the other side.
Isn't that cute?
That is awesome.
We have some water there for you to have.
So we
some
have
tea.
some water and we have some tea
Thank you.
for you to pour and enjoy while we're doing this. So what do you have here for us today?
Well, I wanted to show everybody mainly the two basic sourdough classes that I teach for people that aren't as experienced with sourdough. One of them is the sourdough boule, and that's what that is, where you will make your own rolls and then you get to eat a whole boule. The other one is the cinnamon twist, which is right here. It's one of those because everyone gets to make their own sourdough twist, but you could do so many things, so many more things with it. This one has Nutella. This one is plain and we make bruschetta out of it. You could put cheese, you could put pizza, whatever you want. And then the last thing I have are more intermediate classes. There are the cheddar cheese crackers and the plain crackers over there, as well as the sourdough pretzels, which I've had family classes where they just love it because you spin the dough like this in the air and it's awesome.
So the crackers, that's not something I've seen before. I've seen your bread before, but you make those as well, homemade?
Yes, and matter of fact, anybody that takes a class always gets crackers for a snack.
Well, we have to book another class.
Of course.
We actually, well, I don't know if you have. Have you been to one of her
Yes.
classes?
Uh-huh.
Was it
With the cinnamon twist.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
so we made the cinnamon twist, and that was really, really fun. And really tasty. I didn't know you did it with Nutella as well.
You could do it with anything.
Well, amazing. So you prepared for us a little plate. Can you explain what's on the plate?
There's a roll, which is a whole wheat roll. It's made from the same recipe that the boule is made from. You both have, I think, the pretzels that have everything bagel seasoning on top.
Yeah,
and then there's
these are really cute.
the plain, this twist is the simplest sourdough bread that you can make. And that has the bruschetta on it, and then you have either a cinnamon or a Nutella twist as well.
Well, perfect. Jamie, what are you going to try first?
The pretzel. I've been staring at it since we got here.
It's got
Everything bagel, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Again, bagels you could do everything you want to. The other ones over there are plain cinnamon. You can make them curry. You can do herb flavor, anything you want.
And then this other one, what is the topping on this one?
Bruschetta. It's just a tomato-based topping.
Oh, I don't know which one I want to try.
It's so moist. I love it.
Yeah, and so I have had the benefit of having your bread multiple times because you've sponsored a lot of my events, and most recently the Everyday Girl Adventures 1-year anniversary here in the studio. And so I'm very appreciative and always really excited to try your bread because it's delicious.
Thank you. Also, then you could put on the rolls, you could put the olive oil or there's butter here. It's up to you.
It's delicious.
Every time I see you, you've got something new for us to try. I love it. You can make anything out of sourdough.
You can make anything out of sourdough. Sourdough has existed for 8,000 years. Commercial yeast has only been around about 150. And sadly, that's when gluten intolerance started to happen.
I was going to ask that because we've been eating flour-based things for thousands of years, but gluten intolerance is something more recent.
Yeah, and it's because of the way they make the bread. My bread and all sourdough bread is made with wild yeast from the air. And then you ferment the bread. I ferment mine anywhere from 4 to 12 hours. You could even do 24 hours if you also use the refrigerator. And that breaks down the gluten in the bread so people can handle it in their stomachs. Our stomachs were not made for wheat. And it takes the lactic and the acetic acids in the wild yeast to break it down so our stomachs can take it.
Well, that's amazing. Can you explain some other benefits to eating sourdough bread?
Well, they have even found that people with diabetes can have sourdough bread because what they need is they have to make sure that it's been fermented again during that bulk ferment for, I'd say, at least 12 hours. And use more whole grain flour than white flour. And then the sourdough bread on the glycemic index is only about 50, where white bread that you get that is only risen for an hour or two is 75. So, and it depends how you make it, but you could even make sourdough bread that's a low glycemic food.
I'm always really interested in hearing the different benefits. I've heard you explain this to different people at each event that I've had the opportunity to experience this, and I'm always amazed at the different types of things that you can make with sourdough because you don't expect that. But any bread, right?
Well, not just breads, cakes, pastries.
Okay.
I even took Trader Joe's pumpkin waffle mix and made it sourdough. You could make anything sourdough.
What's the most unexpected thing that you can make with sourdough?
I don't know. I mean, because you can make pasta.
That's pretty unexpected.
I have
never
a pizza
expect that.
class, bagels, cakes. Just think tortillas. I do a tortilla class. I have you learn how to make hummus as well as pita bread. Once you have the tortillas or pita bread, you'll never buy store-bought ones again because it's so fresh. And another cool thing that I love about sourdough is because of the acids in the bread, in that starter, you can freeze it for up to 6 months. So you can make things way ahead.
Wow.
You also, this bread, if we didn't eat all this before we leave, will last 5 to 6 days before you even need to toast it.
Perfect.
Yeah, with no preservatives. I mean, my bread, the basic breads have 4 ingredients: water, salt, flour, and wild yeast. The yeast that's made from the air. That's it.
Wow.
Well, and in my classes, you learn. I give you starter as a gift, and you learn how to maintain it and feed it.
Except for people like me who kill everything.
But see, people can also, if they want, they can also have a class where I might just give a little tidbit about what the sourdough starter is, but I won't teach them how to maintain it. They won't take any home. They just want to have fun making bread.
Yes, that's me.
Because
you're
pizza
describing me.
classes, especially, people like to have just a party making pizza.
Yeah.
But it's so much healthier for them because it's made with sourdough starter.
So the class that I went to that you did, it was really, really fun. We did the cinnamon twists and you gave us the starters and I did take it home. I might have sat in my car for a little bit.
That's okay, no problem.
But so for people like that, what would your suggestion be on, like for people like me, for instance, I can't hardly ever keep a plant alive. And so for me, that's what the starter experience was like, because you have to feed it, right?
Right, but the way that I teach it is you only have to feed it every 2 weeks, okay? You could feed it more than that, but you only have to feed it twice every 2 weeks. So I tell everybody to put it on their phone, because if you just stick that starter in your refrigerator, it's going to end up at the back of your refrigerator and you're going to forget. But if it's an alarm on your phone, okay, we've got to feed it. And it only takes like 10 minutes to feed it. So it's not a big deal. You don't even have to make the bread right then. If you are having lots of fun things going on, you then feed it twice, wait 2 weeks to make bread again. But you can make bread anytime in between the 2 weeks as well. That just gives you a longer time.
So something else fun that I really like about your sourdough stories is that with the starter, you also name the starter.
Yes, yes.
So that it becomes like a pet. So
Exactly.
You remember to feed it. And Jamie can understand that because I can't keep plants alive for nothing, but she names every single plant.
That doesn't mean I
That's
keep them alive.
cool. But no, that's a great reminder. That's a great reminder.
How do you know if a starter dies?
If it's pink, if it smells really bad, if it's black, when in doubt, throw it out. Because I will always give you another starter. You just have to pay for the jar.
Okay.
You know, so it's not like you're stuck. Because people go on vacation sometimes for a month. But one of the things I wanted to develop with this business is community. And I've seen when classes happen, they will work with each other in, I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. Will you feed my starter? So yeah, it's
Like watching a pet.
Yeah, it is. But you don't have to worry about it because I've got your back for the first year at least.
That's awesome. So they can either buy starter from you or they can book a class.
Right. Well, I will give starter as a gift, and then they have to pay for the jar. But the idea really is to take a class. I mean, I've even had people that have tried to make their own starter. They've tried to follow recipes, gone on YouTube, everything, and it just doesn't work. And then they come take a class and then everything's fine.
So how can we sign up for a class?
What you have to do now, I used to offer classes that were open, but people weren't as interested. They wanted to be with their friends, family. I've done bachelorette parties. I've done, you name it, birthday parties, team building, whatever. So they get a group of minimum, including themselves, 4 people for a class. And the 5th is free, by the way. That is for adult classes. I also teach kids sourdough classes. Most of the time those are birthday parties. They learn about the starter and it's really fun because their eyes just go bug-eyed when I tell them they're making bread from wild yeast that they made from the air. They don't take the starter home, but they get to make either pizza, cinnamon twist, focaccia, or the pretzels.
Oh good, I want to make pizza next time.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
So how can people book a class?
Contact me. I'm the Haphazard Sourdough Baker. It's Kam Fletcher at haphazardsourdough.com, but I'm also on social media, Facebook, you name it. If you just remember Haphazard, you'll find me.
Great. Well, I would like, speaking of themes that you mentioned, I love themes, and so our show is centered on a relatable topic that comes with a theme. So this month's theme is new beginnings. Kam, you are no stranger to new beginnings. I know a little bit about your story and how you got started, but can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I started this during COVID, it will be 3 years ago, August, and it was pretty scary. I thought that I had a position that had more hours in a job, and with COVID, you know how that changed everything. My friends had told me for 8 years, you have got to sell your bread, you've got to sell your bread. And I just didn't want to be in the kitchen by myself making bread all day. I wanted community. I've always taught kids, mainly kids, and so I was like, okay, this is the time. I'm gonna start teaching sourdough bread classes. And that's how I started. The way I started learning about it in the first place was my son, who's a professional chef and baker, almost 9 years ago taught me how. And so I spent that long learning from him, learning from other people, from another man in the community who used to work with some of the bakers in San Francisco that have owned the famous bake shops. He has helped me a whole lot, and people just even once they take my class, they'll try different things that they have more time to try and will tell me new things that I learned. So I'm constantly learning, even after 9 years.
Everything's a new beginning for you,
Right.
is what you're trying to tell us.
Well, and now you're going to be taking this on full time.
Yes,
So-
because I just retired from teaching last week. I wasn't full time, but it took up a lot of my time doing both jobs. And now it is a new beginning, and it is a little scarier because I won't be able to fall back on, well, sorry, I'm too busy, I'm teaching. And I will miss the children tremendously, there's no doubt. But I really, really hope that I can get more birthday parties because they are a kick. The kids are so much fun.
Well, and those usually are with themes, which is very fun. That always speaks to my heart. So yeah, no, that's amazing, and it's very inspiring. That's something that I love, hearing other people's stories of taking that leap of faith and starting something new, because it's really, really hard to do. New beginnings, everybody can relate to them because everybody does go through that at some point in their life. And for me, I'm always having a new beginning. Anybody that knows me knows I'm always taking on something new. And the studio was a new beginning for me. Writing our Everyday Girl Adventures book was a new beginning. We're actually getting ready to publish our next Everyday Adventure book, so that will be another new beginning. And we also are launching a new product at my salon, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But Jamie, what about you? What do new beginnings mean to you?
I do see a lot of new beginnings in my life in general, just being a part of all the Everyday Girl adventures we go on. But last summer, when we decided to publish our book on our own, we also opened a publishing imprint called Missfit Press, and that kind of got me back into my creative side. When I went away to school, I went away for education, but also journalism. And when I got homesick and moved back home, they didn't offer journalism down at my school. And so I always had a passion for editing. And several years ago, I actually edited for a book that was going to be going out and be published, and I actually never got the credit for it. Not that I necessarily need that, but I figured out in that time that I really enjoyed editing and grammar, and so opening this publishing imprint is getting me back into that, and I'm really enjoying that and hoping to take that further to be more involved in my life. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And I'm super grateful that you have that background, because it is giving us the opportunity to keep going with our Everyday Adventure series. And Kam, you were actually one of our authors in the first book, Everyday Girl Adventures, talking about your haphazard sourdough journey, and it's actually a really fun story. I laughed out loud the first time I read it, so it's just really enjoyable to hear other people's journeys and the challenges that we go through. And that's what new beginnings are, right? They're a leap into the unknown. And we never know what's going to happen when we go into the unknown. It comes with challenges and things that are unexpected, but that's where all the adventures come into play.
Before we go today, Kam, I just have one last question. How did you get your name, the Haphazard Sourdough Baker?
It's funny because people think that it's such a hard thing to do, to make sourdough bread, but I've made almost every mistake in the book, and the two basic breads always turn out. So that's how I got the name.
Interesting, I love it.
Thank you so much, Kam, for coming on our show today.
Thank you, Jean and Jamie. I can't thank you guys enough over the last 3 years, helping me getting my business off the ground. If it wasn't for your encouragement, forget it. It wouldn't have happened. So I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank our sponsors. The Radiance Collection by Local Legend Salon and Spa. It's not just for your skin, but also your well-being. And a special thank you to our content creator and marketing specialist sponsor, ICU Visuals.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.